All right, the first thing I did want to talk about this morning, you may have noticed, this is my free-to-play account that I started with here. I did go to Ops 48, so I did want to just sort of take some notes and uh, little update for my tutorial series, basically. Some new things that happened at 48. 48 is in itself a fairly short level to go to upgrade through. Going from 48 to 49 only requires the shipyard. Whereas other levels previously, you're doing dry docks, you're doing defense platforms, you're doing vaults and warehouses and things. 48 isn't really much of a level itself as far as like a holding level where it's going to take you a while to get through. You get to 48, you do your R&D building, you do your, you do your academy, then you do your R&D building, and that's all that's really needed to move right on to the shipyard. And then you can push ops from 48 to 49. A very short level to get through. 49 is going to make you stop and play a bunch of catch up, and you're going to have to do a whole bunch of other stuff. And we can pull that up on stfc.space real quick. Operations. Bzz, not that operation. See, like going to 49 just requires shipyard. If you want to go to 50, though, now you need the hangar, the refinery, the defense platform E. Defense platform E is going to require you to update all of your other defense platforms along the way, and each defense platform only upgrades after you do the dry dock. So 49 is certainly going to take a while as you do the whole ring outside your base. The refinery requires the vault. The vault's going to require you to do, and it's the dilithium vault, so it's going to require you to do all your warehouses, all your generators, basically everything's going to 49. Refinery also requires the shipyard. Shipyard requires the R&D building and the defense technology building, which requires the astronautics studio, which requires the foundry and the science lab and the engine tech lab. So essentially 49 is upgrade your entire base to 49 before you can advance to 50. It is a complete catch-up level, so you're going to have to do these 12 buildings all have to go to 49. The refinery has to go to 49. All of these buildings in here all have to go to 49. It is an incredibly long level, so don't waste too much time camping at 48. Just blow right through 48, get to 49. This is my 100% free-to-play account. I've never gotten anything on this one. As you notice, still one builder, still one research queue. $0 ever spent. Here, I can even prove it like this. Let's look at my treasury. Oh, yay, we've got officers, but what do we have for resources? Garbage. Absolute garbage. I'm level 48, and they're giving me 3-star mats because I've never spent $1 on this account. The upgraded treasury is almost an incentive to just spend like $10 and just buy or $20, buy one battle pass for $20. Just so you're not free, so your treasuries actually get better resources and materials in them. But I don't like rewarding bad behavior, and if that's the requirement, that if you've never spent anything, you just get crap, that's just a bad mechanic, and I'm not gonna reward that. So lots of upgrading to do. No point in hanging out at 48. Go ahead and just move on through, get to 49. Other things that do happen at 48, you do get some ship upgrades. Your Talios, Defiant, and Franklin A all get an ability to go up an additional tier. The next component, so you get to tier 8, obviously have some leveling to do. The final component here, the next one that you'll need to take them up, requires you to get to 50. So you're going to have to wait a little bit before you move that up. The Franklin one requires you to go to 51. The Talios, I'm sorry, not the Talios, the Devorphecia would require you to go to 51. So there's definitely that. If that treasury costs $5, no, the treasury doesn't cost $5. The $5 treasury key is gone. That doesn't exist in the game anymore. If I wanted to buy this treasury, it's a $20 unlock to get this treasury. So you're spending $20 for 60 epic officer shards, which isn't, I guess, a bad value in the grand scheme of things as far as the game goes. But all of the materials in it are horrible and useless. So basically, you're spending $20 for a few speed ups and 60 epic officer shards. Again, not the worst value in this game, but the fact that everything else in here is woefully out of date just doesn't sit well. So, other cool things that happen. 48 is a good level because at 48 you can do. We go into R&D here. This fun research in the station tree. Fleet Commander gets you your final free dry dock. So this is going to get you an additional, your 6th dry dock. This is the final free one here. This will get you dry dock F unlocked. Did I close that? I did close that. Now I do also want to just double check because I feel like one of these. Okay, so dry dock F, which you get here at Fleet Commander 5 after you do that, has a pretty steep cost. Not as bad these days with all of the par steel that they give out, but just want to make sure you're not aware of the sticker shock on that when you see it. That's the base value. It's probably less than half of that with all of the other efficiencies and things like that we've got going on. There is no freaky hidden other cost after that to upgrade. It's all really cheap stuff until you get it up into the 40s, and then it starts using 4-star crystal. But 1 through 39 is just par steel and titanium. Relatively cheap to upgrade as compared to, if you look at, I think it was Dry Dock E, which required this to build it, this 2-star uncommon crystal that people were just like, you know, I'm in my 40s now. I don't have this stuff anymore. Like, they had to go mine this and then refine it and waste time doing it. Dry Dock F does not have this outdated requirement attached to it. And I did want to make sure to at least point that out and draw attention to that. The other thing I did want to check on is our research efficiencies, especially the ones in the territory tree, like some of these. Because you get to 42. When you get to 48, you get an additional level of these. The last level isn't until 50. So you can get one more level, get a few more percent, lowering your ship upgrade costs, your ship part costs. This is all the stuff in the territory tree. These wonderful efficiencies here, you can take up another tier. Go ahead and do that. Lower your research costs, lower your building costs. Anything you can do to get these costs down is always beneficial there. And then even here in some of your other ship upgrades and construction stuff, obviously can still go up even further. And if we're looking out here in our new stuff, well, this I've got a whole lot of work to do still, because again, one research queue. And a lot of this stuff takes a very long time. But gonna be stuck at 49 for a while, because there's gonna be a lot of building upgrades going around, so I'll have plenty of time to catch up on some of that research as well. But of course, start with the efficiencies, because it just makes everything else cheaper. What else happens at 48? Away teams. Your away teams change at 48. Oh, claim your event ticket. If you have the appropriate reputation, your away team at 48 will allow you to start acquiring the G4 Epic ship blueprints. So I've got my Federation high enough. I've got my Romulan high enough so I can have Tribune or Enterprise E blueprints. I believe you only need to get 80% of the, maybe it's not even 80%. Maybe it's only 60. Yeah, I think it's only 60% for the epics. I think it's 80% for the rares, because obviously I can't build. Can't do the Enterprise E until I get to 1 billion, right? I think that's, or do I have? Yeah. So I can't build this yet until Champion, which would be 1 billion. So I think I only need 60% for these, which would only be 600 million reputation to start getting them through the away team store. So if you pick the ship that you want, you can get a head start on that if you are planning on building one. As far as event store currency, even if you're just pulling one a day, well, if you're pulling one a day, it's going to take you 2 years to do it, because you need 650 blueprints. So probably not going to get them all through the away team store, because that would take you, like I said, almost 2 years to actually unlock it this way. But if you can give yourself a little bit of a head start, save on some costs, even if you get, if it takes you 3 months to go from 48 to 50, we'll say, you can get 100 blueprints out of here for the 450,000 tokens away team currency. That's not an unreasonable number to think about, and then you're saving yourself quite a bit of faction credits if you are planning on building one of those ships at 50. They cost just over 1 million faction credits in total. If we go down here and we find our, so if you want to plan ahead, that's a good way to go. They cost just over 1 million. 1,600 a piece times 650, 1,040,000. I do have a video already on the channel from my main account when I built my Tribune and kind of went through the costs and that whole process. So if you are interested in that, you can certainly check out that other video. But even, like I said, even if you get 100, 1,600 times 100 blueprints, you save yourself 160,000 faction credits, or 8 million Latinum, because you can also convert Latinum at 50 to 1 into faction credits. So giving yourself a little bit of a head start if you pick a ship that you want can certainly make things a little easier for you. And I think that's it for what happens in the 48 and 49 transition. And then 50 is the level where, some people have just stopped because they don't want to go into G5 and they like being where they're at, especially because some of the servers, their leaderboards are still 51 to 70. They just don't have enough people in the G6 area. Some of the older servers that have more players that have moved on and progressed have split those up now, so you only have 51 to 60 to deal with, but still, if you're trying to compete in any type of officer event and things like that, you are at the bottom of those rungs when you're at 51, whereas at 50, you're still at the top of it. So some people do like to just sort of hang out at 50 for a little bit, and if you're planning on doing that for a few months, then it might make sense to build a G4 epic. If you have the extra materials, if you have the currency, if you're just looking for another place to spend materials to keep leveling stuff up. When you move into the 50s, when you start, your Talios really starts to turn the corner in that 52, 53 range. I think it's 53 when you get there. That suddenly it just gets the extra level ups, and now you're over 100 million power, and you're like, oh wow, this is actually equivalent to like a G5 uncommon, at least for a little bit. So that'll start to give you some flexibility with things. Obviously Voyager is okay as an explorer, not the best, but it can get something done in a pinch. If you have to go hit certain level hostiles, you can take it out and use it for those, just for like an event or something like that, a battle pass event where it's like, go kill explorers, and you're like, I don't want to kill, use an explorer to go kill things, and it's just like, I don't want to kill a whole bunch of level 49s, all day, because I'm going to be here, because the point values aren't where they need to be. Voyager at least could get you to kill some 52s, 53s. If you have to kill faction hostiles, we'll say, for the event. If you can't kill freebooters, you have to go kill actual faction hostiles or something, so you have to be out there. It can get the job done, but it's not great for that. So having an extra ship certainly couldn't help hurt with that. So, but I think that's it. I think that's the big updates in terms of moving to 48, and then what you have looking forward to at 49, and then the transition into 50. Um, so I did just want to just take a minute and just sort of recap all that for those of you who might be getting to near those stages pretty soon.